Jero is just a professional poisoner of a family of assassins. But he has to arrange a bride to give a successor to the grandma, and for that, Jero has to ally himself with a marriage swindler? If you got curious, stay with me until the end, and let's go to the video. In a luxurious place of mobsters, a big bald guy is smoking about 9 cigarettes at the same time and passes the cigarette but on his human chair, a cruelty without size. It has already been 15 years since his business invented human furniture. They always faced bankruptcy, but turned things around by any means necessary, like this filth there. All present are happy and enjoying their banquet at night. The bald president congratulates Tomatsu and Natsumi for the marriage and expects several healthy grandchildren as successors. After drinking a poison wine, the old man starts to bleed through every hole of the body. He blames a guest who is at the table, but the real one already slipped away quietly. His name is Jero, and he is going home calmly at night. When he sees a couple saying goodbye with a kiss, he gets distracted and hits his face on a vending machine. He at home, and his sister asks how it was to poison the target without alarming the poison taster. Jero says that the taster developed resistance to poison. That's how it worked. Because over 3 months, Jero mixed small amounts of poison in the meals of the taster. He became resistant even to lethal doses. His sister says that this there is a nuisance. Jero thinks so, but no one would suspect that, and because of that he managed to finish the job. While eating his child yogurt, his sister asks if he thought about marriage. Jero has no chances of that being in the assassination line. Akari insists, but Jero says that the grandma wants one of them to assume the leadership of the poisoner family. He had already refused for being single, and because of that they paired him with a woman from the auxiliary family that he had never seen before. And they tried to force something, but it will not happen. So the poisoners end with Jero's generation. He decided to spend the whole life alone, and Akari should live with her girlfriend. Akari is a very good brother for her. Then Jero receives a message from his friend Entimat. The guy is weird, has a tarantula on the mask, and his tongue looks like a snake, besides having a centipede tattoo on the face. This one is eccentric. The two relax and talk about the future and having children, and how Jero will stay alone. His friend has been thinking about getting married. He has a nice girl with him who accepts him the way he is, with the venomous animals and everything else. Jero was surprised that someone likes and wants Entimat at this level. He says that he worked very hard for that. He says that even married, the two will still be best friends, said that Jero congratulates him. And Entimat leaves being carried by his centipedes. Jero says that he is too much to find someone precious for oneself. He would never manage that. Jero never had a good image of marriages, but after this conversation with a friend, he thinks that it may not be so bad. But for him, it does not work. Another day, Jero is hired for a job, and the guy says that thanks to him, anyone can make use of their cleaning service since they have an affordable price. Some women come offering themselves to Jero. They are the secretaries and hired assassins of the one in the yellow suit. Jero can do whatever he wants with them, be it for work or relaxation. Jero is not in the mood and goes to do his job, but bumps into a bulletproof glass. Jero has to take care of the little blonde that the man in the suit says to be a scum of humanity. Mei Kinesaki is a marriage swindler without a drop of shame. She has been causing trouble in the territory of these bandits and now will be punished. Jero applies an injection in her, which affects her nervous connections, paralyzing them from end to end, and Mei will feel an unbearable pain, as if she were being stabbed through the whole body, besides continuing conscious during all the time. And to finish, Jero will apply a deadly poison. She will wish to have never been born. Mei introduces herself, but small talk will not work with Jero. She says he looks like her first love, but that the protagonist does not fall into that talk to make cattle sleep. She says she needed a lot of money to save her younger brother who is sick. Because of that, she did shameful jobs and borrowed money in all places that she could. And even so it was not enough, then the paralyzing poison starts to take effect. She says that at least she will go F beside someone identical to her first love. Maybe her life has not been a mistake, and asks the name of the guy. Jero gets nervous and speaks. The people watching through the cameras do not understand this little talk of them, and Jero even said his name to the target. The one in the suit says that Jero's family is one of the oldest and most successful families in the underworld. As much as they use these little silly tricks, people line up to hire their services. Mei apologizes and Jero thinks that she might be in love with him. Akari calls his emergency number and says that she will return home and thought it better to warn. She will give an heir to the family and is already looking for a partner from the auxiliary family right now. Jero says to not do that. However, Akari does not see much choice because of the grandmother they have. She said directly to Akari that if she refused to assume the family, she would take her freedom and force her to have a child. If it is like that, Akari prefers to go on her own. Jero feels for the sister and for her girlfriend. Akari says that she will have to break up with her love for that. But Jero does not accept. She says that the brother is the one who will assume the responsibility then. There is no way for Akari. Jero asks to wait a bit. Then he asks May to marry him. If she wants to live, he says that he has to marry to conceive a successor to the Poisoner family. If it is to marry, he prefers that it be someone who likes him, and Jero can help with the illness of May's brother. She becomes all happy, but then comes a trick. Of course, she does not want. She only wanted to see his face being rejected by someone who is about to kick the boots. It is an incredible feeling the couples of this world, be it appearance, finances, personality, or whatever, people date because they are compatible in some of these things. As for Jero, she says that he is a maniac who asks in marriage someone that he is going to kill, and that he does not match with anyone. He agrees. May says that if he wants to find someone, first thing is to be sincere. It is in this way that couples understand each other, fight, and through the stumbles on the path, find their ideal partner. And Jero really wants to marry for the good of the family? The contractor asks if the talk is at the end, that he is stalling too much and can put an end to the misery of the other, because his fee was not cheap. Jero passes to the other side, who is the scum of humanity. It is not a matter of justice that IT is just because he would not be able to sleep at night, but sometimes he also thinks about having a calm life with someone special. He despises this side of him. Jero shouts that he wants a love in his life to be able to have a normal and happy day to day. He wants all the simple things like, how was it at work? Did you sleep well? How was the day today? And everything else. But as it is, he will never find someone. Jero never went to school, nor to kindergarten. He lived his whole life as a poisoner. Showing the weak side would be a death sentence. To vent his heart to a stranger, for him it is impossible. But well, he is doing it now, right? May says that going around killing is really an obstacle, but Jero should meet as many people as possible. If it is really worth stumbling on the way, and for sure he will find someone who likes him as he is, May asks to go F already, since everything was her fault and she will not be able to pay for the treatment of her little brother. She was selfish and ended the future of him. She cries for considering herself a terrible human being. The weirdo arrives and tells Jero to finish the job already and stop venting with the swindler. Jero refuses and says that he needs her as she is very popular for guys to ask her in marriage. She can help Jero to find someone. She is a professional of marriages. He promises to help her brother. May says that it is the first time that someone makes a proposal like this. The random is not happy with this, and everyone in the room takes their pistol because they cannot let the two leave there alive now. He is sad for Jero, disappointed actually, but finally he will be able to rise in life, sending to F someone from the Poisoner family. Jero says that they do jobs for normal people, charging very little, to later blackmail them for the rest of life. The one in the little suit does not care how many lives he ruined. There is no reason to keep acting like a vigilante. Said that Jero applies a super chemical in him and will eliminate the scum of humanity. The guy puts his gas mask and everyone shoots in his direction. But Jero disappears like smoke with May and suddenly appears on the roof and throws his poison on everyone. Then injects an antidote in May. Everyone is agonizing on the floor and the guys are traumatized now to do anything after. Akari calls Jero and says that she is already going home. But Jero says that she does not have to be the successor and silences the random to give some peace. He says that she has to stay with her girlfriend and live a good life by her side because she is special. Jero will marry and be the successor of the Poisoners, but he himself will find his partner. Akari cries and is relieved that she will not need to abandon her life and will say this to the grandmother. Jero does not know how to touch a woman without being a weirdo. Does he have permission for that? Because May still cannot move. Then she says that actually she is a man, so it is fine. Then it fried Jero's brain and mind. The two go to a hotel and May takes a good bath. Now he will help Jero to find the perfect match using all his techniques of love. He even made a profile on Tinder and put him to go to a party. May will attract all the men who want him, for Jero to have no competition at all. But Jero is not exactly the most socially skilled guy. He never went to school, so it is understandable. The guy started talking about his annual salary. Then the women will think that he is a guy who only thinks about conquering with money. May give him a lecture and says that first it is better to smile and talk normally, but not even that the man manages he is a poor guy. He tried another meeting in a restaurant later, but it did not work. The girl left. There were several attempts and nothing worked. TOD stress. Jero went to clean a public bathroom with a formula that he himself created. He found 30 women in the day, and it did not help at all. May thought that at least there would be some progress in some of these meetings. It will be harder than he thought. He says that Jero's differential is hidden. They just need to try a bit more, and someone will appear who enchants him and is enchanted by him. Although May knows that Jero is difficult to develop for romance, he talks about his homemade mixture, the Sacred Purifier, and says that he can even create a chemical that evaporates metal. May says that it is better not to talk about these things on a date. Then the two go away, but a crazy guy kidnaps May and puts him in the car. Jero cannot keep up and picks up the cell phone that fell on the ground. The crazy bandit is brother of the one in the yellow suit and came to avenge his brother. He even spits a lead bullet into May that hurts a lot. But May does not back down and will not do anything that he does not want. He prefers to die than to get involved with these scoundrels. Then, at the right moment, Jero appears in the middle of the street and jumps into the car to use the metal melting acid. The metal splits in half and Jero runs out and follows the wrecked car. They crash into the bridge and will fall into the water. But Jero saves May, and the other two sink. Jero returns May's cell phone and thanks him for having helped him to meet so many people in a single day. If even one person had rejected him before, he would regret it for the rest of life. He counts on May to help with his inexperience with women. May says that since he did not get anyone's number today, he will give him his contact. May then identifies Jero's differential. This is the beginning of the story of Hikaru Jero, the assassin and poisoner in search of his other half. My good, what a crazy beginning, huh? But very interesting. Do you think there will be a YOI romance with May, or will he be a bro who will help to find a girl for Jero? Comment there and leave the like and share to help the channel. Activate the little bell to not miss anything and hype the video if you are on the cell phone. See the description for more recaps, and thanks for the support as always, and that's it. Professionals are masters of the art of killing, constantly perfecting their techniques. Through many generations, these professionals developed lethal techniques of certain death. This is the love story of one of these professionals, the master poisoner Hikaru Jero. Jero goes to a meeting point that May said, which is the Avogado Naval Museum, and she insisted for him to go. Jero is waiting for May, and there he comes all handsome, and Jero gets impressed with his beauty. I think it would be cool if at the end of everything unfolds a yaoi romance between them. It would be something different in a shonen right. May says that lost the notion of time choosing her clothes. She grabs Jero's hand for them to go together practice a date, but the guy goes crazy and lets go of the hand. He is not used with this type of relationship. May complains that many guys would pay millions just to hold his hand. Said that the two go to the Naval Museum and it is quite beautiful and real, but Jero does not understand why people would make dates there. May says that today will be a practical lesson. Even if he manages the number of someone and goes to a date, that way will not give him nothing. Jero has to be prepared. The two see some paintings of art, but Jero does not know how to react and what to say in these hours. Give a discount to the boy, because he never went to school and does not have any social skill that does not involve his work. He says nothing with nothing and gets nervous, so it is minus 10 points for him. They look a painting of a beautiful woman, and Jero tries to impress in the lesson saying that May is more beautiful. As he spoke without confidence and lying, it is minus 100 points for Jero. He does not know what to do and has to look a tutorial of dates on the internet. However, May says that Jero only has to be himself, because the important in a date is the two to have fun. Jero does not think that manages, but it is for that they are practicing, of course. He thinks all this more difficult than his time of apprentice of assassin. Jero finds something sublime, a legendary little doe released 40 years ago, the Maze Mazzaro, with estimated price in 30 million yen. Expensive as hell, but he thinks that is cheap and would pay up to 5 times more. How can all this for a little doe? But the question is not the value in itself, It is something that represents for Jero the advance of humanity. For a guy from the underworld, he has some very childish and funny tastes, which is not bad okay. May thinks cute him having fun and sees Jero looking at a pixel art painting with the head turned. Like this, it is possible to understand better. With this, Jero gained 30 points. He thanks the practical lesson, but wants to see soon how it is to be attractive. Then May shows an old man that seems a bit lost and out of his world. Then arrives a beautiful woman to help, and it is his wife. Besides that, this guy is the master Shiratori, the current most popular artist among the young. For that, he was all nervous. Even though the way and appearance of him are strained for the standard of the world, for the fans he is perfect, because he is considered a genius of art. If to think in other examples, there are athletes that turn the game in the last second, doctors that save the life of dear relatives, and musicians that soften the boredom of the day today. People are attracted by something that moves them, talent. It is practically the same as to fall in love for someone close to you by the appearance or personality. It is a true feeling also. Jero does not think that has this, but May says the contrary. When he saved her from the mercenaries that kidnapped her, he showed his charm that so the best way for Jero to find someone is not at parties or apps, but rather rescuing people, saving hostages and things of the kind. Like this, they will fall in love with Jero. Jero handles that. However, for him as poisoner, this is impossible. But for Jero, it is easy to rescue innocent people, so it will not be a problem. Jero sees Shiratori and his woman slipping out of the crowd like a beautiful and in-love couple. Then May also wants an autograph from him. Jero does not believe that she went there for this. After a painting of the girl that shines as much as the sun is stolen at night. The crew thinks that this is work of Imkawa. This gang from the underworld will not let it cheap, because the captain of the ship did illegal things to say the minimum to get this and several other paintings. They cannot let her escape in any way. But it is already late, because Imkawa is mounted on a shark and going away underwater with it and the painting. The captain is informed of the theft of the painting and says that it is something of little value. Imkawa thanks her pet shark and says that next time they go out for something that is not work. Her little group waits for her, but they are caught by a typhoon of water. A crazy diver that controls the water appeared. May and Jero, meanwhile, start the plan Operation Charming Prince for Jero to rescue someone from danger. But he is not very happy with this. Because of Prince, he has nothing. So for him, it will be Apprentice of Prince. May is finishing with the meat buffet and does not get fat. It is crazy. Jero thinks more important to know how he will find someone to save. Said that May only eats and does not say anything. Then he shows the clandestine site that offers jobs of hired killer, smuggler, and etc. It is a site to find work in the underworld. If to search in the clandestine, we'll find several jobs of rescue or bodyguard. Jero never heard about because in his family they have a contact. Traditional families are difficult to adapt to new technologies, even more his of Jero. May continues devouring the meat as if there were no tomorrow. Jero only finds smuggling jobs, so has to open an account to have more options. Jero shows a job to May. The illegal museum ship demands the return of all the works of art and will inform the location of the exchange of Imkawa for the works later. Their group presents this rescue job and says that Imkawa Hyoko is considered one of the great thieves of the underworld. But in truth, she acts returning works acquired by corrupt collectors to their true owners. They cannot just give up the works of art so easily, for that they want that the interested must infiltrate in their hideout and rescue Imkawa. The sad is that only has two interested in the job because the client does not have much money to offer. Even more with them having part-time jobs, then it does not work really. One thinks that they will have to sell the organs to give a high reward. But the friends ask for Kitami to calm down soon. May sees that nobody would want a job with cost-benefit so low like this. But it is good that Jero will not have competition, and it is a good opportunity for him. The guys are desperate, and May introduces the member of the Jero family, Hikaru Jero. He will rescue Imkawa Hyoko, their boss. But the little group does not have money to pay a professional from the Jero family. If they have to pay the official price that he is worth, they will have to sell their organs whole. But if they have someone like Hikaru on their side, the chance of saving Imkawa are certain. Jero still has not said what really matters, and with his bad face, the crazies get very afraid of him. So Jero asks if Imkawa likes men with glasses. On the ship, the captain says that he never found someone as beautiful as Mkawa and offers to her a spot in high society and to stop being a miserable thief and to be part of his personal collection. Someone please send this weirdo to F. The guy says this while licking a painting. It is messing around. Mkawa would never go together with this crazy and says that believes in what she does. These works of art, taken by force from their owners, is what she has to recover. The painting in question was made by the master of the Kurojiru style, e.g. Satania. The stolen work of art was painted by him and portrayed his daughter, the girl that shines as much as the sun. The market value of it is estimated at $2 billion. Her husband consulted an old art distributor known of EG, and they indicated Mkawa for the job. He begs the thief to recover the only painting that remained of his wife. The husband and the daughter loved her too much. Mkawa promised this to the little girl. That would bring her mother back to her. The captain does not care at all and tells Ushio the diver to deal with her. Jero and Mei invade the museum ship, and regardless of everything, Jero will take his mission seriously. Mei shows the GPS that received from the client, and Mkawa must be nearby. But then some macabre weirdos appear and almost take Mei to F, but Jero appears and defeats them easy, then asks to which direction they have to go. But Mei says that should not have gone together. However, Jero says that needs him because will not know what to say to Mkawa when he finds her. Meanwhile, she is being drowned with the power of Ushio. But the captain tells to stop, so he goes to exterminate the invaders. Mkawa provokes, saying if that was all, and the weirdo will try other things on her. Jero is practicing asking Mkawa in dating and then in marriage, but everything is wrong, and Mei says that this will ruin everything. The henchmen appear with all types of weapons to stop them, but while the two talk about how Jero will approach Mkawa, the poisoner beats the randoms very calmly. He has to understand how the other person feels before coming with talk of dating and marriage. He is a professional that came to rescue her. Mkawa is there against her will and alone, running danger. So Jero has to comfort her in this moment, and the randoms are all fallen on the ground. Mkawa does not have fear of a pistol. If this is the best, the guys are bad at the job. The captain then threatens to destroy the painting. Then it got heavy. The thief says that he is a collector. So why this? He says that does not care. He wants Mkawa as part of his collection. Mkawa understands and accepts this. But then out of nowhere, the hand of the guy is cut off and he sees the painting gaining life and burning him. But this was Jero's poison, making him hallucinate, thing of crazy. Jero then says to Mkawa his name and that is there to save her and that everything will be fine. She says it does not have enough money for someone of the level of Jero, a master. Now Jero does not know what to say and begs for help to Mei. He did not want to get involved in the date, but enters and goes to untie Mkawa. But Ushio enters and captures her. The Hydromancer arrived, and the captain orders to exterminate the rats. Jero applies his chemistry and is ready for combat. This diver will sleep for good. Jero attacks, but the creature turns into water and moves fast. Jero tells Mei to take care of Mkawa and throws her. Ushio creates a huge arm and destroys the floor of the ship. Jero is injured, but Ushio stops the attack and introduces herself. Ushio is in fact a Hydromancer. She proposes to resolve this in another way because two masters fighting will generate material damages enormous, surpassing the fees of the contract. Therefore, she offers 10 times the agreed value. She says that who returns to their house at 6 after work and has dinner with their family will never grow their business. Mei finds one of Jero's injections and thinks of delivering to him, but he shouts to not touch because it is extremely toxic. Something passed through generations is the hereditary mutation. The one of Jero's family is the mutation of improving the bodily functions through lethal poisons. This is his technique to survive in the underworld. The Hydromancer also has a hereditary mutation of controlling water, and her diving suit, developed by the company of her family, is impenetrable by needles or poisonous gases, and they are resistant to immense quantities of hydrostatic pressure. She wants to make the deal, but Jero is not willing. Let's go to the fight. She attacks and says that the mutation of the poisoners strengthens as the user approaches death. This indeed is a double-edged knife, and Jero has to be careful with her. Could it be that Jero does not accept the deal because the thief is paying well, or because she is the little girlfriend of Jero? Jero throws his needles and Ushio is exploded and takes an attack on the glass of the helmet. Then takes multiple attacks on the same point, and Jero says that does not even know Himikawa, but who knows she can become someone important to him. Ushio is surprised with the precision and strength of Jero. Jero says that may seem like a rational idiot to Ushio, but returning home every day at 6 and having dinner with the family is something that he would give everything to have. His childhood was very lonely, and this he does not consider stupid. That MY good. What a cool episode. Jero shows to be badass and still very silly socially, and not knowing how to deal with women is funny. Jero really is very awkward on dates, but it seems that love knocked on his door, and the boy's childhood is also messed up. A girl wakes up late to go to school, then eats and gets ready quickly and tells her mother that she should have woken her earlier. That said, her mother says it is a holiday and everyone finds it funny, but the truth is that this and more families are a human zoo of the Jero family, and Hikaru and his siblings are being taught about typical families gathering at the table. There are several sections of interactions, such as friendship with the opposite gender. Hikaru was not only taught to send others to F, he also learned the reality of the people who were his targets. These people lived behind transparent walls without having the slightest idea. A zoo of humans for the Jero family. They are fragile and ignorant beings in the hands of fate. The role of the successor of the family of poisoners is to decide this fate. Jero really wants to have a normal family and do things like have dinner together with them every day after work. This is something he would give everything to have. Ushio says that if someone like that inherits the Jero family, it will make it be eaten alive by the rising families. So Ushio uses the ultimate of her family, Hydro Inferno, and begins to have the advantage in the fight, simulating with precision the behavior of liquids through her skin. She even attacks Mei and Himikawa. Then Mei protects her and takes damage. Ushio does not care about involving someone innocent, because she can simply compensate for the damages later by paying. Himikawa asks why do all this for her, and Mei says that it is their job. The fight continues, and Jero only manages to dodge the bursts of water. Mei asks Himikawa to run away, because her safety is what matters most at the moment. Mei and Jero will be delayed a bit, but the painting thief will not run away and instead help in whatever is possible. Jero no longer has options of needles and poisons over the course of this fight. He is completely screwed and is not fast enough to approach the Hydromancer. Hikaru learned that he should never fight against other masters, unless the reward is greater than 5 billion and that he is sure of victory. He must never risk revealing the ultimate, the incremental hereditary mutation of the Jero family. If their technique is discovered, Hikaru will have to finish the target in the name of the history and future of the poisoners. Hikaru is not in the mood for that, and then Himikawa arrives jumping on top of him. She did this to guarantee that she would deliver to Jero her special syringe. Himikawa is not the type of princess who waits to be rescued. Even if it hurts, she will act and wants to save Jero. But then she is caught by the Hydromancer, who says that Himikawa was very stupid to return there just to be caught again. But Ushio did not count that the goat Jero was going to use his great power coming from his syringe. The guy becomes so fast that it is not even possible to see when he pierces Ushio a little with a needle and makes her lose control of her water and drown. Jero saves Himikawa, and Ushio is defeated in an explosion of water. For being very skillful, Jero will keep her contact card and maybe call her for a job later. But now he is holding Himikawa and does not know how to do this properly. Good thing he is touching her with the back of his hand, otherwise he would have a fit. Hikaru really wants Mei's help, that one saw it. Ushio starts to hallucinate because of Jero's chemistry, but he wakes her and says that her skin has those stains because of an allergy to fresh air. Then he prescribed a medicine to soften the occurrence of the symptoms and asks Ushio to use it for a while. She does not understand this feeling of pity, but Jero says that this is his way of defeating her completely. It is not only her defeat in the fight, but rather being known for this failure forever, but also remembering that her enemy humiliated her by saving her. Himikawa recovers the painting of the girl who shines like the sun. And Jero gives a scare to the captain of the ship to not do more nonsense, and hopefully he stops being a weirdo. Ushio says that just telling someone to stop doing something will not change anything. Hikaru is too soft. A real professional would have sent him to F. Jero says that if Ushio gets in the way again, he will apply a poison 1,000 times more painful on her. Jero is only fulfilling his duty, and not killing as they asked him to. Himkawa will not make the same mistake twice of being captured. So everyone leaves there on a shark in the most radical style possible. The little tooth went swimming at 1,000 per hour. Himkawa takes the painting of the girl's mother back to her and to her father. The group is moved by Himkawa's nobility and the touching family moment. Jero is alone in a corner not wanting the spotlights, and the husband of the woman in the painting says that his wife died in a car accident right after Ajiha was born. He could even have a good life and live in a house if he sold the painting, but they prefer to continue living with a memory of her by their side. Himkawa calls Jero to a call because Ajiha wants to talk a little with him. He says that it is not necessary. However, May says that it is good for him to feel someone's gratitude, and all this modesty is lack of education. Ajiha is very grateful to Jero for what he did, and Himkawa says that she had a terrible image of professionals before, but he is different from what she imagined. Even May says her words and thanks Jero for having given money for her brother's treatment. Okudo is now recovering well and always sends lively and fun photos to May. He really is grateful for Jero having risked his life and fought for them. The girl Himkawa and Okudo all are smiling because of Jero. Hikaru does not know how to receive compliments and wants to clear his head a bit. Then the guys who hired him want to talk about the reward. Himkawa says that what Jero did has no way she can pay even in 1,000 years. So in return, she will do whatever for him. With that, Jero goes crazy, so the two go on a date, but it seems that Kinesaki is late too. Himkawa's payment was that she would go out with the two when she returned. May is already there hidden and sends a message saying that she arranged a date and will leave everything in Jero's hands. It is his chance to do well. The two are at a shark party singing Baby Shark. Now May's romance operation begins, as the Prince Charming operation was a success and they managed to save Himkawa. Now it is time to put Jero on a date alone with Himkawa and make the feelings come to the surface. May thought she was going to hide in there, but Jero noticed her quickly. Jero has to remember Kinesaki's rules. If the subject ends and there's nothing to say, compliment something on her. Show that he has interest. May knows that there is a lot to compliment on Himkawa. Her pretty earrings, flashy necklace, cute nails, and the charming coat. But the guy goes there and says that the necklace is very worn out and if someone gave it to her. Himkawa says that she got it as a freebie with a dehumidifier that she bought at the thrift shop. May notes that it is time for Jero to continue the conversation, now that he has something to work with. The subject is there, just follow the flow. He asks if she cut her bangs, and she says no. It seems that Jero's date is destined to failure. He urgently needs help. Himkawa asks for his food and says that she loves this food. May goes into emergency mode and will help her big friend. Himkawa asks why Jero did not eat anything, and he says that he does not eat what others give to him because he was trained to improve his poisoner skills and needs to take caution to not eat something poisoned. All that always mattered to Hikaru was to not have poison in the meal, so that was what he did alone in the time between the trainings. Himkawa understands this loneliness of Jero because she was an orphan and did not have anyone close to her, until one day, an elderly man about to die adopted her, just to leave a legacy in the world before departing. After that, she became a Himkawa and inherited an immense fortune. She could have lived an entire life of luxury. But one day she saw many paintings crying and discovered that they were stolen paintings, and she knew how much it hurt to be alone. Because of that, she decided to return everything to their true owners, so they would not remain lonely. When she finally finished, she had spent all the inheritance with the expenses. Then she got 5 part-time jobs. She thinks that Jero must find this nonsense, but actually Hikaru finds this incredible. He never felt someone's gratitude before this day. This was thanks to Himkawa, and she has been helping others for a long time. Himkawa cries and says that no one has ever praised her in that way. Then the time comes for Jero to give the final move and ask her in dating. But Jero says for them to be friends, because they do not know anything about each other, and she only knew his good side that saved her. She got scared thinking that he was going to confess. But Jero says that this is the intention, but before that there are steps that he must follow. Although she had a good impression of him, Jero has a dirty side that he shows to nobody. So he wants to do several things with her, and little by little she will know everything about him. And if she likes Jero, then he will make his proposal. Himkawa is surprised with this and says it is all right, but her heart will not be easy to be conquered. She thought that he and Kinesaki had something, but Jero says that he is his love counselor. Now Jero has the contact of two friends, and Himikawa leaves asking Jero to make a lunchbox for them, since Hikaru does not eat other people's food, and that she likes dashimuk. After a happy date, Mei appears and tells Jero that there is a new job as a bodyguard. It is the only daughter of a great businessman. Jero does not think that having two at the same time is ethical, but Mei says that it is not that. He just met Himikawa, and they are only friends for now. Jero has to meet several people in the world, and it may be that Himikawa is indeed the right person for Jero, but he needs experience, and it is good to meet so many people for that. It may be that the right person is someone else. What Mei wants is for Jero to have the best marriage with the best person. At a party of university students, there is Mei working as a waitress and worried if Jero manages. He already is paranoid with this freshman meeting because the job of the time is to be bodyguard. The university students will toast the welcome to the freshmen, and the girl of the time goes there kneeling and doesn't even get close to toast. Said that some colleagues try to talk with her and see if she is enjoying the party. The girl out of nowhere starts to cry and says that it is fun. Then the randoms go away. Urashino cannot look into someone's eyes and say a hi, not even when they come pull conversation. Her uncle requested the bodyguard service now that Urashino entered college, but would like Jero to act naturally like one of the students of her class, and the uncle looks like a bodybuilder. Keep her moving. Her father made this company grow from zero, but last year got sick and passed away, and determined that when Urashino became adult, she should assume the company. But a member of the family is not at all happy with this, and it is the Aunt Fudy who says that she has the right to continue the legacy of the older brother Kazuhito. The uncle does not know to which extremes she would go even with her own niece to get what she wants, because the rumors in the company say that she now is untouchable because of the professional that she hired, someone with bizarre abilities. Jero already suspects that must be a master like him. Urashino thanked for accepting the job, and from that day Jero now is Daigo Oshima, student of third year of the course of economics. Urashino asks gently to go to the welcome party. Jero finds it dangerous, but cannot refuse the cute look of Urashino. Then returns to the party, and she introduces herself to the class, is entering in the course of economics, but from there cannot stand the look of the others, and her mind becomes a confusion without knowing what to say. She returns to sit and stay quiet. Then the presentations continue. Jero stands up and goes to make the presentation of the century. He practiced many times with the master of the insects. Said that Jero introduces himself and drinks 8 cups of beer at once, something surreal. The guy seems to be about to vomit and may wants to call soon the ambulance. Then the guy vomit the beer in a weird format looking like a gelatin. He thinking that was rocking, but the people got scared and with disgust obviously. Jero says that it is a hydro-retentive polymer, does not do any harm to health. The presentations continue and remains one guy connected in ASMR, and that seems a model. His name is Naruko and has a very zen way, seems the apprentice of Netero with the hand pose. He does not speak of which courses, only that what matters is to find everyone there in this present moment. To destiny, he has only gratitude. Then the girls become attracted to him and go talk with Naruko. The rest stayed to beta. Jero cannot understand the complexity of parties. They go away, and Jero goes to talk with Urashino, but she gets scared. He says that she does not need to force herself to go to these types of events, only to become more sociable to assume her father's company. Urashino cries of happiness for someone to think in how she feels, but it is not because of the company. She wants to integrate with the colleagues. The last thing that her father said to her was to enjoy the moment with the people, celebrate with them, drink with them. He said that she is a good girl, but worries too much. All this is compressed in her little head. Urashino needs to put the feelings out. This was his last request. Then he passed away in the bed beside the daughter. Urashino cannot say anything when the time arrives. Her head becomes a confusion of words. She knows that needs to expose herself more, that this way the people will accept her, but her head sabotages her. And in reality, she worries if people will become angry, sad, or uncomfortable with her. Even with her father, she could not talk properly, not even to ask why he wants that she inherits the company. For that reason that now Urashino will overcome everything alone and reach further than ever. She is determined to do this. Jero says that her life is at risk. She is aware, right? But if there is something disturbing, It is his job to protect. Said that Naruko observes them from afar and says to his madam that the girl has a good bodyguard. Truly perfect. This is the one hired by Urashino's aunt. The old woman is pissed that already passed 1 month and nothing of Naruko managing to accomplish the job. Not even a single progress. No way she will let a girl like that inherit a company valued at 1.3 trillion yen. The top is that she is doing massage on the guy while is pissed. Naruko says that it is not yet the moment and controls the old woman to stop chattering. Fudy says that the bodyguard will die easily to Naruko and says that if Urashino does not refuse to succeed the company, can send her to F if necessary. At the college, Jero is committed studying, although does not need that, but he never was in a school environment and is liking this. It gives a pity to Raku when I remember that he never had friends of his age. Urashino is studying, committed, and excited with the day of the orientation. The teacher makes a question to the class, and Jero raises the hand, all effortful, and answers correctly. The teacher becomes happy with the cleverness of the student. On the outside, Naruko does something with the abdomen while meditates and begins to provoke tremors in the environment. Jero and the teacher already turned best friends. Then the room begins to shake and the gravity weighs on everyone there inside. Jero knows that it is a master doing this and needs to certify that no innocent enter in the line of fire. The ceiling collapses and Jero quickly injects himself with the chemistry and saves Urashino and Mei. Naruko notes that Hikaru injected himself with something and reacted very fast, something that is not possible for a common human being. The two know who is their opponent, Master of Poisons against Master of Sound. Jero informed the client that happened and the causer of this incident did in a way that seemed a common accident. Very typical of assassins. Jero says to Urashino that clearly she runs risk of life and Mei says that maybe she loses the orientation of tomorrow. Her uncle says that she can go to this meeting, since friendships in this time for students are precious pearls for life. She can stay unworried and leave the rest with Mei and Jero. On the next day, Urashino goes to the outing with Mei and Jero taking her unicorn backpack, all happy. But something wrong is going on with her uncle. He also is being controlled by Naruko. That is, something very bad is going to happen in this orientation of the college. Jero knows that even if Urashino stayed at home, she would run a lot of danger. Whatever it is, the only solution is to face the enemy. And different from the case of Imkawa, they do not know when the Master of Sound will attack. It may be that he attacks in the orientation. Then when Urashino sleeping leans on Jero, the guy gets more embarrassed, and without knowing what to do, Naruko is bewitching the girls, and it is quite pathetic. For others to like him, he has to control the mind. He is a loser indeed. The class arrives at the orientation and Jero begins to cook like a ninja, ability of Master Chef. Mei told him that men who cook are 3 times more attractive. And it is working indeed, everyone impressed with the abilities of the freshman. Urashino tries to serve yakisoba to the others, but the shyness prevents her. Jero gets worried, but Mei says to leave it with Urashino, that she manages to solve this alone. Urashino begins to enter in short circuit and does not know what to do to integrate herself. Then she has an idea. She changes clothes and uses an outfit of magical girl. Then makes a magic for the people of the class and makes the yakisoba appear on the plate out of nowhere, after wants to make appear a large portion. But the yakisoba falls all into her hat. The good is that the class had fun and it was cool the presentation. Mei said that she found the presentation awesome, and Urashino says that are things of her company. It was the first time doing something like that in front of someone in the end ended up going wrong. The good is that the people had fun, and she says that she is terrible in talking, then remembered of the disgusting performance of Jero at the welcome party and thought of doing that. Urashino thanks him and Jero, all embarrassed, says that it was nothing. Then, a classmate begins to tell about the curse of Kladni. In the past, this place was an abandoned village, and until the war, offerings were made to the gods. One of the youngest children was chosen as offering in times of bad harvest. Then this child was confined in a temple nearby where the class is. At night, while the ritual was performed, a creature would come and feed itself of the child. This custom disappeared after the war, but landslides, fires, and other natural disasters became more and more frequent. Almost 1,000 people lived there, but no one remained. They say that even now Mr. Kladni awaits his offering. And the next can be you. Urashino gets scared and does not believe in what she heard. Jero says that this is nonsense. The classmate told a huge horror story, and now the class will make a haunted tour in the region. The girls want to know where Naruko went, and speaking of him, the guy is running through the forest and jumping on some wires that he set in the region. The reconnaissance of the forest was a success for him. Now Urashino will scream beautifully and begins now. The haunted tour begins now, and the destination is the local temple. But as the route is dangerous, there will be instructions on the way. With the selfie sticks, the pairs will be able to take photos to register the path and cannot forget the flash. The memories will be made in this exciting adventure of terror. Jero and Urashino go together, and Kinesaki reminded Jero that this is the moment for him to make Urashino feel attracted to him. If he does not take advantage, the poor guy may end up staying single for the rest of life. Urashino asks forgiveness for giving so much work like this. If she were more adult and brave, Jero could stay more calm. He says that does not need to think about this, because his job there is to protect while she has fun and builds memories of a unique opportunity. Cannot let that tacky aunt of hers spoil this trip, even if someone is pursuing her. Urashino can stay calm that Jero will solve everything for her. The two find a place to take the selfie, and Urashino takes the photo. But when looks, there is a demonic face of Claudini in the image, and Jero disappeared. When she finds him, in fact, it is Claudini that turns into the exorcist and begins to run after Urashino. She hides in the local temple, and out of nowhere, Claudini is there inside with her, and there is a rope on the ceiling when the creature approaches, and it seems the end of the girl. Her father appears and confuses everything even more. She takes the cup of sake that her father offers, and he says that she is between life and death to be the offering of Claudini. Urashino asks the reason of her father having chosen her as successor, and the features of her father change, and say that it was a mistake what he did. He only favored the daughter. Even if she fights, she will never stop being a useless. She only causes suffering to the others, and this can end now. Urashino fell into a kind of hypnosis and almost is about to hang herself on the rope. However, with her own will, she wants to change and make others happy as she did before when she felt well. Then leaves the temple but goes by the wrong side and is about to fall from the mountain straight into the river. She tries to use the umbrella, but if nothing helps and thinks that it is her end. However, Jero appears and saves her from the fall like a prince with the disgusting thing that he did before. The Hydro Retainer Polymer. All this was a plan so that it seemed that Urashino would take her own life or suffer an accident. Thus her aunt could inherit the company. Jero knows that who is behind this and invented the story of Claudini is the sound master Naruko. At the moment that the flash of the camera made noise, it was there that the plan of Naruko began, and he hypnotized Urashino to run away to far while gave a burst of sound on Jero and destabilized his sense of orientation to not find Urashino. Out of nowhere, he approaches and says that is excited and moves away after speaking that will do everything to fulfill what was agreed. Jero needs to flee from there with the girl, but she does not have strength to stand up. Then Jero says for her to climb on his back, now is accustomed because Kinesaki taught to him. But the girl is kind of strange and grabs on him from the front, seeming a chimpanzee or a koala. It will be the way. Jero runs and asks for her to hold tight. Injects his chemistry to become stronger, and Naruko uses his incremental hereditary mutation. Whispers of insanity to affect Urashino and Jero. Jero says for her to put some earplugs, and Urashino has a better idea and puts kitty headsets with sound cancellation on both. If it is to run away, it has to be with style, right, my good? Jero dodges the sound attacks, but will not help much, because they also give physical damage. For that, Jero uses the hypertrophy to deal better. However, the target is Urashino, and she is caught again by the sound and runs away. Naruko takes advantage of all the traumas and sorrows that are in Urashino's heart. The girl sees her uncle, and he says that she is a big burden that only gets in the way, for that he let her go to the university camp. But Jero comes to break this hypnosis and says that Urashino's uncle tried several bodyguards before him and only had problems, and that he was happy when he saw Jero's evaluation in the application and decided to count on him. No one who thinks you are a burden will bother to do so much and be happy for someone to protect his niece. Urashino's uncle is a true father to her. Jero puts her to sleep because the thing will stink. Naruko took advantage of a fragility of the girl, and Jero will no longer allow that this happens. Then he runs away with the girl and meets Kinesaki, who is looking for the two. Jero tells Kinesaki to take Urashino away from that village, because now Naruko will aim directly at him for having disturbed him so many times, and the fight can become intense. Jero opens Urashino's headphone and finds the audio device that he put when he got close to them before in the river. This potentiated Naruko's hallucinations and illusions. Naruko can detect very well where Jero is by the noise of his steps. Hikaru tries to melt the wires, but it does not help. His compound does not work because the wires vibrate at an extraordinary frequency that repels the acid. Liquids do not affect the wires. Now the plan is complete, and he summons a large Cladini for the battle. Jero throws poisons and somehow immobilizes the monster. Naruko becomes desperate and goes to see, because he did not feel anything abnormal in the vibration of the trees or of the wires. Arriving there, he realizes that Jero used substances that make the trees grow to thus break the wires and trap the monster. Naruko now says that his plan is ready and that Jero will need to rescue the girl because the earth collapsed and blocked the way for the students to go away with a van. When they try to call emergency, Cladini vibrates and controls everyone's mind, putting them in despair. Then they want to sacrifice the youngest person there to be saved according to the local legend. Then everyone shows their student cards and they go after Urashino, the youngest. With a panic established, Urashino and Kinesaki run away from there. Jero has to save her and fight with Naruko. Then he vibrates his arm, cuts a tree, and with his hair creates a violin. The technique of the sound master will act, and Jero prepares himself. My good, one insane episode, and the sound power of this crazy guy is on another level. The controlled people are chasing Urashino to use her as a sacrifice. And the master of sound, instead of playing the violin, actually throws it at Jero to distract him and thus find something for his victory. Jero pursues him, and Master Naruko says that Urashino's suffering will only increase by inheriting the company, being excluded by her own family, and being put down. For Naruko, this is the great tragedy of the weak living in the world of the strong. No matter how much potential you have, nothing can be achieved by being weak. And Naruko's backstory is noticed where he had to send his brother to hell in the family training. Jero says that Naruko is the one who is afraid, because Urashino, with her own strength, managed to overcome the trauma that Naruko amplified in her. The two were forced to become strong by the clans, but Urashino, with her own strength, overcame her weakness. Naruko feels something wonderful and found what he wanted, the fight insides. Chemical compounds released by the trees. The masters of sound do not use techniques for physical combat to bewitch their targets with sound. They need to be in the best body conditions. And this forest environment is the perfect place for that, even more with fight insides there that bring the peak of their abilities. The potential of these fight insides is something unimaginable. So much that Naruko is almost having an overdose of pleasure. He sucks in all the compound, but realizes that it was a trap from Jero, who prepared something with a similar aroma for him to fall for it like a duck. Then Naruko is going to expel the poison, but Jero prevents him in an incredible action. Jero noticed that for the master of sound to use such complex techniques, he always needed to be in a state of relaxation for that. Just like he sacrifices a little of his life to use his poisons. Then Jero lands a beautiful punch in Naruko's stomach. But this will not end Naruko's hypnosis and the panic that he established in the students. Kinesaki does not answer Jero. So we see that the little group decided to stop hunting Urashino and are going to use the next youngest person after her as sacrifice. However, Urashino cannot let this happen and asks Kinesaki to help her because she has a plan. Then Urashino appears with a witch who is going to exorcise the Cladini with her power, and she arrives all communicative thanks to Kinesaki's conversation tips. Even hearing nonsense and insults from the enchanted group, she gathers all her strength and starts the plan. With the magical items from the company, she sends her flame through the hand wires, and with an inflammable gas that Jero uses right on top of Cladini, they manage to destroy the monster. And the animation here is movie level. And the hypnosis is ceased, and Urashino calls everyone to make a classic campfire. On the next day, everyone wakes up and says they had a weird dream where Urashino had powers, looked like a witch, and things like that. Thanks to Jero, who put a filter on their memories, nothing that happened will spread. Urashino's uncle arrives, showing off in a helicopter. This is 1,000 aura. He rescues everyone, and Urashino thanks Jero for the bodyguard work and then gives a head pat on his head to thank him for the good work, just like her father taught her. Urashino says that Jero did everything so nobody would get hurt and feel sad, especially her. Because of that, Urashino will be grateful and proud of having met him for the rest of her life. Naruko had to reimburse the money spent on him and return to his family dojo to resolve some things. Urashino's aunt is outraged with a plan that failed and hired a nobody for the service, but he gets dragged away quickly because Jero and company arrive. Urashino tells her aunt not to go easy on her because she will work hard to make people happy and inherit the company with her own effort. Her aunt remembers the words of her brother, who said that if she saw potential in Urashino, she should help her brother's daughter. Urashino says that the two have to move this company forward and support her father's dream. Thus, the family matter was resolved, and Jero and Kinesaki had already left, and he did not even get the girl's contact. But he says that she does not need a relationship or marriage right now. He learned to consider the feelings of others, and Kinesaki becomes proud of Jero, although he thinks he matches well with Urashino. Then Urashino comes on a motorcycle to approach them and says that she still has unfinished matters with Jero. Because of that, she is going to give one last party. The three go to a park at night and eat and drink there. But the two antisocials do not know what to say to each other, and starting to maintain a conversation is impossible for them. Kinesaki needs to act. However, Jero stands up and says that he's going to make a surprise. Please let it not be something disgusting like the last time. Jero turns off the lights and makes flowers appear from the sky. Now, yes, something beautiful that conquers hearts. Jero learned from Urashino that the important thing is to make people happy sincerely and not with something shocking. I'm feeling that Urashino is going to fall in love. Then the two manage to have a conversation with each other, showing tricks. Afterwards, Urashino says that there are many things she wants to do. She needs to inherit the company and continue her studies, and also, she wanted to fall in love with someone. Then, in this little mood, her uncle arrives to take her home. She is the one who creates the courage and asks for them to exchange contact with each other, and Urashino wants to see Jero again someday. Man, what a character evolution. She pulled out all the strength she had and asked for Jero's number, but afterwards, while leaving, she was dying of embarrassment. Kinesaki says that they will have a next job on Sunday, but Jero says that he will not be able to go because there is the wedding of his friend, the Master of Insects. What a sensational end of arc with this evolution of Urashino. All the girls intending to marry Jero until now are incredible. If you enjoyed it, leave a like and share, subscribe to give support, and activate the bell, and check the description so you do not miss anything. Thanks for the support, as always, and see ya!